Hey guys, welcome back to Lynch's Garage Friday Night Stories. We'll probably concentrate on the part where I got home. I didn't show the pictures of when we arrived back. I'll show you those. And anybody saw the last video where I was out doing a good run in the RS? They know that my phone died and I didn't get the next clip I wanted on part of the Waverly Road. But that won't happen again because I bought a super long USB to Lightning, and it just so happens it's black and white like the RS. So that's what I'll be using to keep the phone charged up right there. So yeah, but to start tonight, I'd like to welcome all the regulars back. You guys always come back anyway, but I suspect there's going to be a few new folks dropping in, and I appreciate it. And so you can sit down and have a drink with me, and I'll just tell a few stories. That's all, you know. And to start off the good night is this I picked up from the duty free. Yeah, I picked this up from the duty free. You can see it. It's Connemara out of Ireland. It's the peated single malt Irish whiskey, and you're drinking the soil of Ireland, and that's why I love it. I love this peaty stuff, and this is probably the most peaty, I think. There may be another one up there. There's a few others. There's one called Ardbeg from Scotland, and there's a few more. But yeah, there's a bottle. You can get it here, but it's not at the NSLC, I don't think. If you go to Harvest Wines, they did have it. I know they carried it. I don't know. This bottle would be maybe $65. I picked this up duty free for the equivalent of probably $50 Canadian. So that was a really good deal. I'm just going to set that. Actually, I'm going to put it back in its cardboard for now, and put it back here, and maybe have another sip of it. Cheers, guys. Go grab whatever you got there and have a drink of your favorite drink. Oh, man. Nothing like this stuff, man. There's all types of whiskeys in the world, but the Connemara from Ireland, ooh, that is tasty. You like the taste of peat? Yeah, smoked peat through it. Mmm, beautiful. Okay, so as you know, we got back, me, Sam, and Barb, Chris, and Jane. We got back. Yeah, so in these pictures, you'll see the U-Haul here. Maybe I'll just point this light over this way. Yeah, just face it over that way. Yeah, you'll see the U-Haul truck there. I think it was 17 foot. I'm guessing it was a 17-foot one. And being 1990, you can see this car here. I don't know whose that was. It wasn't Dad's. Just happened to be parked there. Yeah, and let's see. So I had backed it in. I backed the TR6. I pulled it off the trailer, and I backed it into the backyard. That's me there. Yeah, it was pissing down rain when we got home in August. Yeah. Uh, this is me carrying the old toolbox and a bottle of windshield washer fluid. You can see there off the old trailer. I still got that toolbox sitting right over there in the corner. I used to throw a few tools in it, keep it down by the furnace when I'm doing some furnace work. But isn't this weird? Look at this. That's a Camaro. Camaro. That's a forerunner saying, you're going to own a Camaro someday. And look what happened. I do own a Camaro. And this is, Dad caught this one of me driving it away to take it down, take it back to U-Haul in Dartmouth there. Right there. So that's cool snaps there. Yeah. So we get into a few stories here now. Let's see what we got. Well, we left off. I was told, they have a spot in the shop for me now as a bench tech. But before that, I had to go in and write a test. So Dave Albert called me in, and I went into his office, and he said, "We just want you to write a short little test." Well, it was 50 questions, and it wasn't none of this multiple guess stuff. It was like you had to write, it's like theory, radio theory, and math questions, and it wasn't easy. Anyway, so he said, "We just want you to go. If you can go next door, the room next door here, and meet our technician." I said, "Okay, cool, yeah." So I go next door, and I walk in, and lo and behold, I know the guy. It's Cal Andrews. He was in NSIT when I was there. He was a student like me, same class. He sat right to my right most of the times. He was right there. And so he gave me the exam. And it's funny. I wrote the exam, went home thinking, it was pretty tough. I know I didn't ace it. But later that day, it was either later that day or the next morning, Dave Albert called me, goes, "Yep, come in. You're hired. You're hired for the bench job." He goes, "Although you didn't do very good on the test, you only made a 55. He said, but we believe you can do the work by looking at your resume from the military." And I said, "Okay, good." So, sometimes you just can't do the paper part of it, but you can do the hands-on stuff. Some of the other stuff you can't. And like when I was in the class NSIT, and Cal was beside me, he had a memory of something. He could figure out a whole circuit, man, and we had to draw the whole circuit, the front end receiver right through the whole thing, transmitters, circuit, everything, and he could draw it all through, right? And I'm there sitting there going, "What the hell? What's the next component here? What's the next component? I don't know." So I look, I glance over at Cal's, right, to see the next component. That's what it is. After a while, I think he seen me looking over. He'd be covering his paper and stuff. Anyway, I'm talking circuits like this, man. I'm talking like, all these circuits. There's just a small example of a little circuit there that you got to remember all that stuff, right? So, it's pretty rough. Yeah, it's one of the old books, Applied Electronic Circuits. Yeah, a lot in there. They're even talking about NAND gates and NOR gates, and I don't know if you guys took any of that stuff, but This is pretty old. It's a pretty old book. There's a picture in here. Picture in here somewhere. If we can find it. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah. Showing some TV stuff here, but there was a woman in here. I can't find her now. Where the heck did she go? I don't know. Where'd she go? She was in here. You know what? She disappeared on me. I'm going to find her, though. I'll show you something here. This is old. This book is old. Really old. I don't know when it was printed, but it's pretty old. Here, look at this one. Here we go. Check that out. Automatic circuit card tester issues test signal and performance response measurements. Look at that. Tell me that ain't from the 60s or whatever. That's pretty old. It's from Halifax Vocational Schools, this book. Let's see when this was made. Oh, well, actually, it was made in 1972. But those pictures look older than that. Well, that's it. That was something. Anyway. So, yeah, they hired me anyway, so that was cool. And what happened next year? So that was, I would say late October 1990. And then, of course, Christmas is coming up. And there's going to be a big Christmas party. So down at the Burnside Motel, I was at the end of Wright Avenue, I believe. Or is it Akerley? Akerley Avenue. Yeah. It's not there anymore. But we had a big Christmas party, and Dave Albert said, well, we were in at the bar area, and we had already had our meal. And so I said, what are we allowed to, what's our limit for beers to get, He goes, no limit. He said, I have an open Amex card. So as many beers as you can drink, he said. He said, that's your limit. I said, cool, okay. So we all started drinking beer. Or whatever, rum, whatever people liked back then. And that was pretty cool. Anyway, some people didn't like him. I liked him. I had sort of a connection with that dude back when he was younger. So say if when I got there, I would have been 30 years old. And so Dave Albert would have been maybe 50 something, maybe 50, 52. Anyway, when he was younger, he had a TR3, a Triumph TR3 car. And then he found out I had a TR6 back in, in Dartmouth there. And, I had it up until 92, October 92, I sold it. But so we had a connection there. And so I thought it was funny, like some people didn't like it. I know Terry didn't like him. Terry I don't think he had any time for him. But I don't know, maybe he just didn't get along with him. Whatever. I liked him. And I like Cal Andrews as a boss. If I could pick, if out of maybe 4 bosses I've had, I would say he was probably if not the second, he was probably the top. Because he just let you do your work. He didn't crowd you. He wasn't micromanaging you. He's just like, here's the tools to do your job. We give you everything here. If you have any questions, you need help, come see me. But he just let you do the work. And he was probably the best. And so that was good. In this funny thing, in 1991, summer comes around. So Dave Albert, he'd go out and buy a whole hockey sock full of popsicles. And he liked to watch being his office was up front, and the two secretaries were just outside his office. He liked to watch the secretaries with their popsicles. he would come down to the bench there where I was working. He goes, "Want a popsicle, Ronnie?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, I take it," but I wait till he left before I had it. Right? Not that he was that way, but whatever. I'd wait. Anyway, that's funny. That's funny stuff. Okay, so anyway, I think that Philips mobile radio out of England, being they had the contract for the whole Nova Scotia government radio system and stuff like that, they were one of the best companies to work for. We had, right in the same building, we had a consumer division that sold like CD players and all that entertainment stuff. We had a medical division. It was one of the best companies, man, to work for. It was, for me, getting out of the military. But then it got sold off to the Simmons brothers out of Simons, or Simons, they call it, out of Ontario. They are well known. They are from the famed Shure Microphone Company. I think maybe that their father started or grandfather started. So they have a lot of background in that sort of stuff, and they were pretty decent. They were pretty decent. A few things changed, but they were pretty decent. But they didn't keep it. They didn't keep it too long. I think they sold out. So if they picked it up in late '92, they sold it out probably summer of '94, maybe. They sold it out. So then it got sold to a fellow named Brian Stevens, which was like, he was like I would say, millionaire, multimillionaire, whatever, from New Brunswick. Now, he didn't really understand the radio business, that side of it. All he was just looking there. Any way he could make money, he was doing it. So he had us running Cat 5 cables. So they sent me over to, they built a new store over in Bears Lake. They sent me over Cleve's Sporting Goods, a gigantic store. I was way up on the scissor jack rafters. I was running Cat 5 everywhere. And I thought, I didn't join the fucking circus, man. This higher wire rack shit's, it's going to be done soon. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do this no more. So, soon as the opportunity came up, boom, 1995 rolled around. I might have been doing that job in February '95. I can't remember. Anyway, when the job came up for Motorola, it was, yeah, we didn't know what company it was. The ad came out in the paper. Me and another guy at Philips, Ray, an older guy, and me, we both put in for it. And it said it was like doing work on Motorola products and stuff like that. So we didn't know. Anyway, then we both get a call. We both got an interview, and we both got hired with a substantial pay hike. I don't know what his pay hike was, but mine went up about 14 grand. I went from 26,000 to 40,000. Plus pay for on call. If you're on call, you get, I don't know, $200 or $300 for the week or something like that. So you got on call pay and stuff like that. But yeah, my interview was in the Tim Hortons, out in Beachville area. Not far from the new Harley Davidson's store. And I just met him there. It was Danny Bezanson, and just sat down, had a coffee, and just relaxed talk, and he told me right there, "You're hired." Okay, cool. And that was good. That was really good. Really good. Now, how you guys doing with drinks? Doing all right? I hope so. I think I might. I don't want to drink all this Connemara, so I want to stretch it a bit. I did have it up to Bruce's last weekend, and we had a taste of her. Man, that's nice. Anyway, yeah, let me get a Guinness there and make sure this thing's still rocking and rolling. Yeah, it is. Okay. Let's see. We got the mug. I've got a little bit in it from before. Had a little taster while I was going over my notes. Let's dunk this sucker in. So yeah, it was time to leave. The company was slowly going downhill. So, but I liked it. I liked it when when it was. I really liked it when it was Phillips, and then changed to Simmons. It started to go down a bit, and then when the guy from New Brunswick got it, he didn't have any interest in that. So, and then of course it was in the future that they were losing the contract for the Nova Scotia grid, radio grid, and it's going to go over to, right? It's going to Motorola, Bell, Bell and Motorola. That's where it's headed, and that's where it went. So I had to go where the work was, and that's where I went. Although one big sales guy there called me a traitor when I was leaving. Called me a traitor. Well, you got to put food on the table for your family. That's not being a traitor. You know what I mean? And but the guys, all the guys I work with there are great. I mean, I think they get me a Harley Davidson book. They got me a nice Harley Davidson T-shirt, custom embroidered one. It actually said Halifax dot Dartmouth right on the back. So I had both cities were separate then, right? I thought that was pretty cool. They got that for me. I still wear that shirt too. It's still in great shape. And that's from 1995. Mm-hmm. Many moons ago, that one. Oh, that Guinness is nice. So, like I say, guys, what else we got? So I'm just starting in the new job. And, but I was thinking things over today. Life, we're all just actors on this stage they call planet Earth, really. That's all we are. We're just actors. So you guys have to play the part you want to play. Don't give a damn what anybody else says, or if they try to say stuff, this or that or whatever. You play your part, because only you know deep in your soul what you want to be and want to be a part of. That's what you got to do. And that's what we should all do. And that's what I'm finally learning. Well, I'm not learning. I've always done things my way for a long time, since I was a kid, but it's just realizing it now, I think, that I was actually doing that, not knowing I was doing it, but I was doing it subconsciously, I guess. I don't know. So, yeah. So, hopefully we'll get back again for another one. So basically the the TR6 went into the garage of the new house I bought in December. Oh, I got one funny story here. So I get the job in the end of October 1990. Barb gets a job with Chronicle Herald part-time, and I think I was over at my brother's place, and so we've been looking for the house, and then probably mid-December we found the house we wanted. We put the offer in. They accept it. She accepted. She was a widower. She accepted for 3 Rodney Terrace. I think she wanted 78. And I said to real estate agent, yo, Mason, I said, just go 74. And she goes, she's not going to take it. She's not going to take that. I said, well, if she don't take it, I'll look for another house. I said, that's where I'm sitting. That's all I can do. 74,000. And she brought it to the table, and sure enough, she took it. But so once I had that for sure, I went and everything's done at the bank. We got authorization from the bank. We're good. I was at my brother's one night, and I said, I'm gonna buy a house. He's still in an apartment, right? Over in the north end there, by the gray rink. I said, I'm gonna buy a house. He goes, you just started there. You got to do at least 3 months probation. The bank won't even look at you. They won't give you a loan. And I said, well, I said, would you? He goes, I'll take my hat off to you. He said, I'll take my hat off to you if you get your house. So I think we finalized it. I think it was like December 20th or something. Anyway, I went back to Chris's apartment. Walked in. We were just gonna have a couple of beers or something. We had a beer or something. I said, you got a hat around somewhere? Like ball cap or something? Oh yeah, I got ball caps. I said, can you go and get one, and can you put it on? Anyway, he couldn't even remember, right? So he puts it on. He's looking at me, and I said, can you take it off now? I said, you said you take your hat off to me if I ever got a house. I said, I got a house. That was partly due to Dave Albert, because he wrote a great letter that I could take to the bank stating that, yeah, I'm hired. They're not going to let me go. I'm hired. I'm there. And that was, yeah, I think that was I think that letter pulled a lot of weight with at the bank, because I had only been at the job really only a month and a half, really. Month and a half, month and 3 weeks, something like that. So, anyway. But it wasn't a year later. Chris got out of the apartment, and boom, they went up to Montebello. They got a place. So, maybe it triggered him to say, I'm getting out of this damn place. So, that's good. That's good. Like I say, go for what you want to get and get what you deserve, because you work hard for it. So that's what I did. Keep your eye on the prize and just keep going for it. And don't let anybody sway you. And you'll get there. So until next Friday, I hope, I'll write some more stuff up. We're getting into the next 5 years of my employment. Yeah, should be a few stories there. Yeah, there's some stories there. Yeah, for sure. I could add one more story about Phillips. I had a big van, like a full-length Chevy van. Thing was super long. Anyway, we lived on a hill like this, Rodney Terrace. Ever see that place? It's a dead end. And you have to go up. And in the wintertime, it would just get so snowy and icy. And I went down one time. I had a call, had to get over to HRP on the Bedford Highway. They had a dispatch center there at the fire station. And I went down the hill, and was I looking after them? No, that couldn't have been them. No, I must have been going on another call, I think. No, that would have been with Down East. This was with Phillips, but I had to get down the hill, and I was going down the hill, and the whole van started to slide, and I corrected it, and then it went, and it was going right for the friggin' lamp pole, and then I re-steered it, and I just steered it away, and I went right down onto Rodney Road. I was very close to hitting that lamp pole and wiping that sucker out. So that hill was damn dangerous. I wouldn't want to deal with it now. No. I like to be on the flat now, like I am. But that hill was treacherous to get up. I think in the little Escort, the little silver Escort I had, the first one, the one that replaced the Bronco, I burnt the transmission out going up, just spinning, trying to get up. The way you'd get up when it was snow and icy, you'd have to cut the wheels back and forth and keep digging in, digging in, digging in, digging in. And slowly you get up. You'd have to go above where the driveway was and then gun it and get it into the driveway. It's the only way you could do it. But that that particular night, that kind of burned the transmission out. It just toasted it, couldn't handle it, heated up too much, and eventually I lost all my gears. Couldn't back up, couldn't go forward in certain gears. It was terrible. Yeah, it was toast. So that was our first house, though, and we stayed there for 15 years. But it was a good first house, close to the schools for the kids and all that stuff. Okay, that's good. I'll write some more stuff up maybe next Friday. But until then, guys, like always, I like each and every one of you to stay safe out there. You know what I mean. Thunder Road